Welcome to WROL Broadcast. I am Hate Mail. With me today we have Joker.
Hello, guys.
And we are doing this podcast. We're going to start doing this as a regular monthly series. Won't be a super long podcast, but it's just a podcast going over the character selections and rework selections that Joker does on his poll on the CC. You don't do that on Reddit, correct?
No, I don't. I just stick it strictly to a community center and in-game. That's it. I think people have like polls on Reddit, and I know the admin has told me that they have looked at the polls on Reddit as well. Just kind of like they brief over it, but I send them the results of this in monthly, so
Okay.
it's a combination of both.
I didn't know if it would just be too much to track on Reddit to have a zillion people voting, or if they just had a
Yeah,
regular
it's
poll.
crazy enough now.
I think they can actually do just a poll like where people actually write it in. I don't know. That's something we'll have to ask them about.
If
anyway.
I could move everything to Twitter, they have a very easy poll system on there.
Yeah.
But that ain't happening.
So let's go ahead and get into it. If you want to start, wherever you want to start, I'll let you drive here.
All right, I'll go with the most wanted character for January, top 10 heroes, with 52, out of 218 separate people involved in the poll. Hawkman got 52 votes. He's number one. Red Tornado came out at 21. The Atom came out at 20. Plastic Man at 18. Ms. Martian at 12. 10 for Guy Gardner. Heatwave at 8, Azrael at 8, Hush at 8. 3 of them are all tied up. And Cersei was the last for 7.
Oh wow. Yeah, Hawkman's he's been number one for how long now? A long time, I'm guessing.
All year, really. He's been top pick all year round. I had one poll, I think, maybe in March or April, where all of a sudden Saint Walker got a hike up in the demand, and he was number one for a month. But Hawkman's dominated it for forever right now. It's like another Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, well, Saint Walker was probably the next highest requested, correct? So he's at least
Yeah.
So he's taken care of. So Hawkman, I guess Hawkman's the only one left. So hopefully they give him what the people want. I'd love to see him complement my stun team as a physical red stunning AoE that pairs with Hawkgirl. That would be so awesome.
Yeah, he could be a lot of fun. I recently in the comics they've gotten very into him, kind of reestablishing his origins and basing him very much on reincarnations and tying all of these years and years of Hawkman into one character. And it'd be interesting to see them try to kind of take that approach into the game mechanics if they would. I don't know.
I wonder if I'm surprised Red Tornado's as high as he is. I didn't think he'd be that popular.
I got some guy on there that it's very big on Red Tornado, and he just kind of hypes everybody up with getting votes for this character. I mean,
I think he'd be a cool addition. I mean, I'd welcome that, but it's surprising.
Yeah, he could be fun in the team. I would have thought Plastic Man would have been the second spot running, next to Hawkman more than Red Tornado or Atom. But, no.
Your microphone's picking up like every movement.
I'll try to stay still.
Yeah, you might want to adjust. I think it's too sensitive because it's grabbing everything. Just
I just yanked this sucker out of the case and plugged it in. Like, let me give it a try.
Yeah, I had that problem with one of the mics, and Slow Beast was yelling at me nonstop. For the reworks, what did you have?
All right, I had 148 people get involved with that one. And top of the list is Chemo with 28 votes. And I think that's based in part from the little tease we had from their last podcast years ago, where they said they were looking at him. But yeah, he got a lot of love in this poll. 25 for Zatanna, 16 for Batman Caped Crusader, Supergirl with 12, Superman with 11, Mirror Master with 9, Martian Manhunter with 8, Gorilla Grodd with 7, Blue Beetle with 7, and Jay Garrick Flash with 6.
I think it's funny because I didn't really see much requests on Supergirl, hardly at all until recently. And granted, that's anecdotal because you hadn't started the rework poll. This was your first rework poll, correct?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see in the future. But I didn't expect Supergirl to be on there. Bat CC, I mean, he's a fine character the way he is now, but he's one of those characters I think everybody just wants to see a powerful Batman. I don't know if we'll ever get that.
A, a lot of people on that poll, they were specifically requesting that he had some kind of lead, and yeah, I can get it. Batman's led the team here and there and got them to kick ass, but I'm not sure what they could slap on him to, yeah, to fit that in. But see what happens when it eventually comes.
If they ever do it, I start to wonder about some of these characters. Like they just seem like they don't want to do it. But then again, we said the same thing about Survival Suit Lex, and then he got one of the best reworks of all time. So,
Yeah,
and they did
yeah.
it without changing his kit much, which was extra impressive.
No, they just boosted the heck out of it.
Yeah. Which it's funny because when I'm playing PvP, I don't see him that. I still see more Hal Jordan, which kind of surprises me.
Well, yeah, I'm running Lex team a lot right now, and it's just a matter of you run into that Wonder Girl, and you got the wrong guys buffing up along with it, and she's just gonna smack them down. I mean,
Yeah.
the other guys might survive it, but Lex is still kind of squishy. He gets whipped a little too hard, and yeah, lights out.
So on the new character in the rework, what are your personal picks, Joker?
With that Joker rework right now, I definitely leaning towards Chemo with the rest of the crowd. I would love to see him get reworked with disease and something something a little bit more intense for him. I mean, he's one of the slowest characters in the game. He should have a lot more punch. Yeah, he and Grundy are at the bottom of the speed list, and the both of them deserve to have a lot more of a slam or a whack or something devastating when they're in the game. Since you've got to wait so long for them just to take a turn.
Yeah,
Um, and just on the image or cosmetic side, I'd love to see him the size of Giganta.
that would be cool.
um, New characters, there's a lot I'd love to see. All Mystic as usual.
Yeah.
um, Felix Faust, I think would be great in the game. He's a big Justice League villain, and he's given them a good fight in the books, and I think he can complement the game pretty good. He definitely should have some kind of a reviving ability for dead teammates. The character is basically a necromancer, so it would fit. Um, but yeah, how about you?
For reworks, I mean, I do like Bat CC. I think he would be fun. But I wouldn't mind, any of those D, F tier characters to get a rework just because bringing them up to speed, even if they're just, brought up to a B or C tier character where you can put them in teams and they're not a liability, makes them,
Yeah,
would be worth it. I actually really, really want to see a Jay Garrick rework now with all the speed teams coming back in full force, having a Jay
right.
Garrick team where Jay does what his kit you hoped his kit would do, and he eats turn meter, just munches it down, and that'd be fun.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about them wanting? I mean, Superman being that high on the list, that would be what his fourth rework.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you kind of feel like Superman should be an upper echelon character. He's not terrible now. It's just the unfortunate reality of Wonder Girl. Just she runs everything, so it's just tough. Um, but I think that's part of really why I've been starting to get a little bit bored lately. I mean, I'd mentioned this on a few other podcasts, but I'm trying to slow down on the spending specifically because it's just I've been out of control for too long and I'm like, okay, I got to slow it down. So like this month I've been really good. I bought the Superman one just because it was an amazing deal and for the gems alone, I didn't care about the Superman shards, but for the gems it was worth it. And then I actually
Right.
resisted Saint Walker, which he's darn good, but I just don't see myself rebirthing him. And I was gonna get the rebirth crystals, and then I just thought about it. I'm like, $200 for one rebirth for shards for characters. The only character I cared about the shards for was Booster, and I mean, while Booster is solid character, I don't think I'll rebirth him again. So I'm just not sure that. So I decided to not get it, which that took amazing restraint on my part, just so you know. and,
Yeah.
and then
Especially if the boy is showing his off, you know?
Yeah, the boy was a little shocked, but I was like, you know what? I was like, it's just there's no, you don't. I mean, you don't really need the rebirth characters. It gives you a little bit of an edge in Siege, but like this month, I decided I wasn't gonna buy every single day, so I'm just shooting for a top 20 finish. And then,
There you go.
the character seems cool, but he's not a character I'm gonna rebirth probably. So
Yeah.
even then, even if you plan to rebirth, I decided my strategy in rebirth now is I want to rebirth characters that I can take to rebirth 4 or 5, and the new characters without
Right.
spending, $30,000. You're not going to be able to rebirth them beyond rebirth one. So I'm like, well, I don't see the point in just taking the RB1. Now Bullsy's doing like every character gold roster, so that's kind of cool. But he's slowed down this year too. So I think give us content that we need rebirths for, and I might change my strategy on it. But decided it's a little easier to like whenever you get annoyed with certain things, you're like, well, if when you're not dropping heaps of money on it, it makes it a little more tolerable when something breaks or goes wrong. So
I think people would have a lot more fun or go a little bit more crazy again or just get passionate about it again if those rebirth crystals were coming out more frequently.
I think it's a foolish strategy on their part by making them so insanely expensive because people like me and Ballsy were starting to think, well, I don't really. I mean, I'd like to rebirth these characters, but because they're so expensive and so rare, you hoard them and save them for the perfect character, or you decide you just crack and rebirth Flash. But
Yeah.
um, and then you kind of regret it afterwards. So then you kind of get to the point where you're like, I really don't need to rebirth everybody. But if rebirth tokens were plentiful, you'd probably end up spending way more on the shards because now you have lots of rebirth tokens. But I've said this time and time again, I don't understand the strategies of the marketing teams. I don't have the numbers, so maybe they're doing things right and I'm wrong. So
I'm not too sure about it. I mean, I know some free-to-play players that have been here since like year one. They've got, sick amounts of Cyborg or Bane or Harley, and they could take them to like RB3 or RB4. And, they're taking things slowly because they're getting their rebirth crystals slowly and, going a little bit here, a little bit there. And, uh,
Well, the other thing is they don't want to ruin Wraith. So the Wraith arena makes it so that people don't want to spend to upgrade your characters either. So, it's that whole catch-22 system where your prices are
yeah,
increasing, rebirth tokens come out slow. The whole system's not designed to be spend friendly. So I'm like, why do I keep spending heavy if the game more or less penalizes you for it. I'm like, well, I just won't do it anymore. It makes sense to, just take it
yeah,
slow. You enjoy the game more. All the people that take it slow seem to enjoy things more. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go down that road. This at least until they give me a reason to go differently.
yeah. Nah, I take it at kind of like I guess a middle of the road pace. I'll spend when the villains come out and heroes are out. I'm just like, I'll slowly collect those guys. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm not completely cutting off spending. Don't get me wrong. I'm just getting to what would possibly be considered high on some people's looks, but in the Court of Owls, it's very modest. So
I hear you.
it does help that I have everybody already maxed too, so it does cost me like I naturally get enough to upgrade characters each month. Well, I don't have to buy rings, I don't have to buy, things like that. You get enough in the course of the month. So,
Yeah. Uh, I guess that's that, huh?
all right, well, that was quick and easy. We will post.
Yeah.
Joker, if you want to send me just the figures, I'll put them in the show notes for everybody.
I've got that in the little chat room we have there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. I remember.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, this is Renee Sylvia 88, DC Legends moderator. Thank you for listening to this episode of WROL Broadcast. If you like the show, please check out patreon.com/WROL Broadcast and find out how to get cool perks. And for those of you who didn't know, Tootie Tron is a freaking princess.